All right, good evening. Welcome along to SCFC Fan TV for another Thursday night live. Apologies that we're 30 minutes late, but one of us is being grafting. But we're here with you tonight, and we're live with myself, Wee Philly. We've got Michael Bowers, we've got Jacob Kirkbride, we've got Dino, we got the Mad Mistake, and joining us as our guest tonight, we got Conrad, our editor. So hello to you lot. We are live. Right. You can join us on the live chat if there's anything you would like to ask us and join in the show with us. I'm sure it's going to be a lively one after the result on Tuesday night at Rochdale, and that's basically where we're going to start. Before we get into it, we'll quickly run through the predictions we all had for it. Michael, can you remember what you said?
2-2.
What for Rochdale?
2-2 for Rochdale, yeah. 2-2 for Rochdale, yeah.
I must have written it down then. I had you down as a 2-1 win.
No.
Is that right? You're not telling lies on the channel, are you?
Michael, you're telling porkies, mate.
Please, come on, away. Play the game. Right, Jacob, what did you have?
I had 2-1 Sunderland, mate.
2-1 Sunderland as well. Dino?
I had 1-0 Sunderland.
1-0, you're being conservative there, you were. Mad Mistake, you were confident. What did you have?
This part of the show is so boring. 3-0.
Sean, who's not with us tonight because, of course, he's grafting, he said 3-0. Conrad, if you could have predicted the score, what would you have said?
Oh, I probably went too far the other way and went with Terry, like 3 or 4-0 for me. Like,
yeah, right.
2-2 at the minute, like,
course,
just to be.
And there was only me once again. Got it spot on. I was feet on the ground. 2-2 I had, keeping up my 100% record. So everybody was livid. I watched the live stream, Terry's live stream, which he did, his commentary, and he was going absolutely mental. So do you want to start us off?
No.
Conrad, do you want to start us off then? What did you think to Tuesday?
I did the same as you. I watched Terry instead and saved a bit of money. And from what Terry was, you're right, Storm, get off my desk. Every day, I'm at work, every day chatting to people. Yeah, he gets on. Yeah, I watched Terry's stream and I think I turned it off after about 70 minutes because I was doing something else, but I was just getting more and more annoyed with Terry as well, just going like his frustration was affecting me and I was just sitting there going, this is annoying me and I'm not even watching it. This is just getting more and more frustrating. It was just, I don't know. I'm not, it's not the season over, but it's just not what I want. I don't want to be drawing 2-2 away at Rochdale. We need to be sweeping teams like this aside, man, but that's it for me.
Well, it was disappointing. Quickly on the chat down here, somebody said relegated by Christmas. Chris Scott said, what will come first, Sunderland getting promoted or Wee Philly getting his pension? Jack Dodds says, Philly got his pension just after the war. Thanks for that. Thanks for the support from you all. Dino.
Hello.
I mean, we were all full of expectation going on what our predictions were. You were less so, but you still had us down for a 1-0 win. Thoughts on the game?
Don't get us wrong. Obviously, you'd think we would win because we expected to win. And like Terry was saying, the 251 outsiders to win the league, which means they should be getting in the relegation zone. But when I looked at the table, they had 10 points, so they're not doing too badly. I thought the game was lost in the centre midfield. I thought that's where the main problem of the whole game was. Centre midfield. We were out-battled in the centre. We were out-passed out in the centre. Their centre midfielder scored 2 goals. Why I put the blame on the centre midfield is because I've watched the goals back, and on the first goal, the lad peels off from Max Power, who Max Power's watching the ball. He's not watching what that Lund's doing. He runs into the box. The ball's at the penalty area, and he nods the ball in free header because the centre midfielder wasn't tracking his run. And then the second goal, you've got Dobson, who's running back. He's doing his job. He's running back. And for some reason, he goes where Sanderson is. And Sanderson and Dobson, well, Sanderson heading one way, and Dobson's jumped into Sanderson. It's ricocheted off Dobson. And then their player, Rathbone, who I thought had a brilliant game. I would give him man of the match. I thought he was brilliant, Rathbone. He made our team look shambles. He laid it back to Lunn, who tapped it in. And when I looked, them had 4 players in the box. And we've only got 3 defenders, technically, the 3 centre-backs who were in the box. So you count on your centre midfield to make that extra man up, which they didn't. So where's Power? And Dobson obviously made the mistake because the ball came off him, fell to their player, and obviously Lunn's there to tap it in again. I mean, we couldn't pass the ball. Phil Parkinson, what game was he watching, saying that the passing was great? I mean, no offence to Dobson, that was the worst passing display I've ever seen from a Sunderland player.
Don't get me started.
He couldn't pass the ball 5 yards. But on positives, well done, Charlie White, again on the score sheet. He's doing his thing. He looked really good. I thought he was one of the best. I would give him our man of the match because he was really good. His hold-up play was brilliant. He had another chance where the keeper saved it. But all round, I mean, Rochdale deserved the point. In my opinion, I thought we were lucky to scrape a point. Actually, no. We could have won the game with Danny Graham's header, but the keeper made a save. I don't think Danny Graham could have done much better with a header. It was a very soft header, but he couldn't generate the power. But the frustrations is the centre midfield, there was no creativity there. And like Mad Mistake said on his stream, Max Power was dropping deep and passing it backwards. What's the point in that? Your centre midfielders are supposed to get forward. They didn't do that until Power hit the bar. But overall, it was a piss-poor performance from a piss-poor side. And well done to Rochdale for grabbing the point.
Yeah, I think Rochdale, as most teams have done with us, up the game. I mean, I didn't think Dobson was that bad.
Oh, come on, Phil, man.
Phil.
I'm only joking.
You start.
I'm just having a laugh.
Just having a laugh.
Andrew Robbins on the chat here says, Andrew Robbins, who's a serial online shopper, says, where was Neil Diamond again? Sorry, where was Neil and Diamond again? Clayton Edwards, just a bad day at the office. And again,
that's 2 in 4 days.
It doesn't matter. It's I'm inclined to agree. It's just, we didn't get beat, did we? We go to these places and you say we're expected to win. People forget we're a League One side. Anyway, Michael, what did you think Tuesday night?
We'll have to talk about this. Okay.
No.
Right.
All right, Jacob, what did you... I'm only kidding. Michael,
Get back on your PS4.
Jacob, you go first if he wants. Go on, Jacob, you go first.
All right. It was very disappointing. Very disappointing. I mean, if we're going to get promoted this year, like many people have said on social media this week, you've got to be putting aside teams like Rochdale. I think nerves kicked in from the first whistle because we were coming off that Portsmouth defeat. We started, from an attacking point of view, we started the game okay. Lyndon Gooch put in a few decent crosses on the left-hand side. 2 of them actually led to our goals. A brilliant header from Charlie White once again. He's a man on fire at the moment, isn't he? I hope he could continue this good run of form. And the second one was a bit of a fluke. I know it took a deflection off one of their defenders. Bailey Wright headed it in the far corner. Keeper could have done better. But overall, what Dino is touching, I've never seen a Sunderland midfield in one game just look so shaky and just look so nervous when they're on the ball and trying to find a teammate, particularly between Max Power and George Dobson. I mean, the pair played well together as a pair last season. Where was that on Tuesday night? I mean, George Dobson, he kept giving the ball away from a defensive point of view, closing down people. He was poor. But also, was it Dion Sand? He started the game well, to be fair, Sanderson. But as the game went along, you could tell, was it the inexperience kicked in a little bit? He was caught out of position a few times. He picked up a knock as well, which I think may have affected him. But I think the quality in the final third also, the crossing particularly. Phil Parkinson, please tell me what gave you the confidence to start Conor McLaughlin as a right wing back? Honestly, the geezer's got no pace at all. And playing him in that position was a recipe for disaster. And even on the other side, Denver Hume, he didn't have the best of games on Tuesday. It didn't quite work out for him. The crosses into the box weren't really good enough. But that chance, Max Power right at the end, thundering a shot against the crossbar. On a good day, that sails into the top corner. But it was just one of those days. But we have to bounce back on Saturday against Gillingham. They've lost their last 4 games. Come on, we've got to win that game. Otherwise, I really fear for Phil Parkinson's future at the moment.
Right, okay. And on the chat down here, Thane says, funny how loads of fans were calling for Ledbetter to have a rest, obviously, you know, age-wise. And then, so we give him a rest, and then quickly people are saying how much we missed him. Wayne Duran saying, Rathbone, another player we were linked with and didn't sign. Pace and creativity, which we are lacking. Dino, you're quickly trying to get in, and then
I think it's a bit unfair to say Hume had a bad game. The only attacking threat we had was down the left-hand side. I mean, I know his crosses weren't the best, but he's getting in them positions.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't see Conor McLaughlin getting them positions. And I'm going to give a shout out to SCFC David here. I watched his video, and he's totally right. Conor McLaughlin on the right wing is a total waste of a player because he's not attacking. If anything, you could have swapped Conor McLaughlin and Dion Sanderson, because Dion Sanderson looked all right going forward. He looked comfortable on the ball. He's got more pace. I think that might work better because our only attacking threat came from the left-hand side. And once you nullify that, you've got nothing else.
Right, fair dues. Michael?
Okay, I've actually got the chat in front of us, and I want to respond to Steve Flounders. Now, basically, he's come out and said that he asked, honestly, you are deluded, and why do you think these players think are better than they actually are? If that's what you think, fair enough. I know a lot of people don't think this squad is that great, but let's be real. If we're not expecting, even with that side, to go out and beat Rochdale, then we might as well pack our bags and forget the season completely. I'm sick to death of this narrative that, oh, this squad's top 9. Like, no, it freaking isn't. I wish people would stop saying that this squad is terrible, because it's not. No one was saying this before the last 2 games. Why is that all of a sudden changed just because we've got 1 point in 4? 2 games does not define a season. Having said that, with Tuesday, I was incredibly frustrated because I actually did end up watching the game. First half, atrocious, all over the place. No one taking responsibility defensively. At the end of the day, you keep a clean sheet or you don't concede more than 1 goal, you win that game. And obviously, don't get me wrong, down the line, we have to score more goals. That's fair enough. But, like, goodness me. Actually, for once, I do agree with Dino about the centre midfield. I think there was just no responsibility being taken in the middle of the park. And I've never seen someone, and I'm going to end up slating George Dobson here. How does George Dobson not know to pass a ball 2, 3, 5 yards? Even when he tried to make a sideways passing, he kept on finding a Rochdale player, which I don't understand how you can do that. I don't get it. But, you know, look, for me, the brightest, I'm trying not to get angry here. The brightest spark for me was Sanderson. I thought Sanderson had a really good game. I thought that Sanderson looked very composed at the back. I thought he looked commanding in the air. I thought he was all right on the ball. I think he tried to go forward in the right wing-back role, which, by the way, like Dino said and David have said, I completely agree with that. I think that Conor McLaughlin, if you play him in a back 3, that actually is all right. I think you can get away with him doing that in a back 3. Yeah. But he doesn't have the attributes to get up and down the pitch with pace and with energy. Now, McLaughlin, I thought, played okay on Tuesday night, but ultimately down the line, if Parkinson sticks with him at right wing-back, then I will start to get concerned. And on to Parkinson, and I didn't watch Mistakes live stream, but I'm pretty sure he would have been pretty annoyed at this. The amount of time that Parkinson deliberately waited to make a first change was absolutely ludicrous. And I want to point out Grant McCann at Hull in midweek, and I think people know what I'm going to say. Hull were losing 1-0 going into the hour mark at Bristol Rovers. Grant McCann, instead of doing a Phil Parkinson and waiting until it's too late so people can't impact the game, he brings on 3 players. All 3 players score and Hull win 3-1. That is what I want Parkinson to be doing. Now, obviously, you can't just make a change for the sake of it. There has to be a reason for it. Yeah. But, you know, you've got to wait until earlier. You've got to do it early in the 75th minute. I'm going to stop before I get too angry. So go on, someone.
Right. Quickly, I'll come to you, Jacob, quickly, and then we'll go to the mad mistake. Johnny Thorns says, absolutely nailed on that, Dino. He agrees with what you said. Go on, Jacob.
Yeah, this is a question to all you. I know once again Phil Parkinson makes the substitutions too late, but were you lot absolutely baffled when he took Chris? I know Chris Maguire didn't have the best of games.
Sorry, Jacob. Let me jump in there first. Then let me go to the mad mistake, and then he can do his bit, and then we'll do your question, and then we can all have a bit on that. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Right. Okay. Mad mistake then. Tuesday.
Well, if people. If the squad's good enough to win the league, come in the top 2, or definitely the top 6, then obviously someone's underperforming. For me, it's got to be the manager. I mean, for the manager to come out with quotes like very, very good rhythm, played great tenacity, outstanding passing, bravery in passing was amazing. he couldn't even look the interviewer in the eye. He was constantly looking away when he was talking. That's because he knew he was talking absolute bullcrap. Absolute bullcrap. Now, if Conor McNaughton's not good enough to go wing back position, and you're moving, you haven't got Luke going 9, so you're moving Gooch up front, and Jack Diamond didn't even play for the under-23s. Why doesn't he come out and say what was wrong with Jack Diamond? Why can't Jack Diamond start and run at players down the right-hand side? That's what he can do. He's got pace. He's got the youth. He's got exuberance. He just wants to run at the players and try and get the ball in the box as many times as possible. And yes, he would loads better than Conor McNaughton on the right wing back. I don't know where he was. How can he not get on the subs bench even? Why have we got 3 strikers on the subs bench? What a waste. Absolute waste. Having 3 strikers on the sub bench. What's the point of that? The whole thing baffles me. Half time, every one man and his dog could see Dobson was having a stinker, right? So it wouldn't be a disaster to take Dobson off and just put Scowen on second half. But no, he plays him for 90 minutes. He makes the lad who's having an awful game. And I'm not going to slate him because, he's a nice lad. He's had a bad night at the office. He's probably not good enough to play for Sunderland. And I wish him all the best in the future. But he made him play 90 minutes and stay out there the way he was playing. He was passing every single pass to the Rochdale player. It was his fault for the second goal, but he made him stay out there. I mean, what sort of manager does that? The manager, for me, is completely deluded and clueless. And he needs to take a long, hard look at himself in the mirror. He really does. Portsmouth outthought us at the weekend. Last season, we got into a rhythm. We won few games. We had no plan B, and teams figured us out. And Parkinson couldn't fathom how they could figure us out, but he kept playing the same way. This season, Portsmouth did the homework. They got into our midfield. And for me, Leadbitter was tired because Leadbitter's been the best man so far this season. And this is another reason why I think the defence has been so good, because Leadbitter's been on top form and he defends the defenders. He helps the centre-backs. He helps Bailey Wright. He helps the 3 centre-backs. That's why, for me, the times he put his body on the line in the penalty box, Leadbitter in the first 6 games, and he's probably too tired for Portsmouth. But Rochdale probably watched the Portsmouth match and thought, yes, midfield, weakest link. Let's just rush at the midfield. They absolutely got no pace whatsoever. Our midfield must be the slowest midfield in the history of football in midfielders. It's absolutely bizarre. We got so slow. Flanagan had an okay game, but when he gets the ball, there's about 40 yards in front of him, and he just walks with the ball. He walks with the ball, gives it the power, and the power gives it back to Flanagan. What is the point of that? What does that achieve? It absolutely baffles the life out of me. Half time, a sub should have came on. And like Michael says, and everybody can see, Phil's standing there with his hands in his pockets. Does he make the substitution? Yes. He takes off Maguire. I'm thinking, really, Phil? Really? It's just, I give up. I give up, honest to God. He needs, if he wants to save his job, he needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror and make some big decisions coming up. He needs to give some young players a chance for starters. At least have them on the bench.
Well,
and for me, on Saturday, Leadbitter straight back on that side. And I bet the defence is a lot better for him back on that side as well.
To be fair, I mean, yeah, he does have his hands in his pockets, but it was a cold night down at Rochdale anyway. Michael, you've been desperate to jump all over Terry there when he's been talking. What do you want to say?
I want to elaborate on something Terry said, which is about Diamond, Neil, and Embleton and Park. I know Embleton's been injured, to be fair, but something that I want to point out is Aidan McGeady. One of the reasons that Phil Parkinson gave us a reason for freezing Aidan McGeady out is the youngsters. Oh, we've got players who can come through. Oh, we've got players who are going to be right. Phil Parkinson, where are they? Where are they? What, you know, if you're getting these guys through and giving them a chance off the bench to actually try and help and impact a game, bearing in mind these young players will be unpredictable to most teams in this division and will not know what to expect, then it baffles me how they're not even getting remotely given a sniff. And that is what you've got someone, and I know people give McGeady. I know there'll be people who don't want McGeady back in the team. I'll tell you right now, we will not be able to get anyone better than Aidan McGeady in the window because of the salary cap. But Parkinson won't be bothered to try and maybe work things out with McGeady. And this is assuming that McGeady has allegedly, again, if McGeady has allegedly has or hasn't been bullying people, I don't know. If he hasn't been bullying people, and I can't see him training with the under-23s or being allowed to train with the under-23s, if he has been bullying people, Parkinson's not prepared to try and actually, you know, try for the good of the club to get him involved in the squad. I know obviously the criticism is that with McGeady, we tend to try and play through him and everyone tends to get on him, but use that in your advantage. Let McGeady occupy 2 or 3 opposition players and free up space for somebody else. Why on earth? But if you're going to alienate him for the sake of these youngsters, why are they not getting used? Why? As much as I'm really on the fence about Parkinson at the moment, but this is one thing he's got to answer. You're saying you want to get these youngsters involved. Why are they not involved? Come on, we've had about, 8 games now? Not a single sight of any of them, apart from Diamond at Swindon, and that was enforced through injury. Parkinson needs to start looking at himself when it comes to substitutions, because I'm getting fed up of him being reactive all the time. It's a joke.
How do you breathe?
Right. Empire Blades on the chat says, well in Terry, lad, got to agree with you. Dino's trying to get in, and then we'll come to you. We'll come to you, Jacob.
Right. On the McGeady thing, I think there's a lot more political stuff behind the scenes than we think. We just think it's because he's bullying youngsters. There's got to be something much bigger than that, because if he's bullying youngsters, why do they make him train with the youngsters? That makes no sense. It's political. It's got something to do with Stuart Donald, wages, because he might be getting appearance fees, goal fees, and they don't want to pay that extra money. So I think there's a bigger reason why McGeady isn't in the side. But I've always said I don't want to see him back in the squad. I think he's past his best. I mean, he hasn't played a game for God knows how long now. I mean, it would take him ages to get back up to speed. So for me, I'm happy enough to keep him up the squad. I just think Parkinson's making the wrong decisions, and I think the players are underperforming a lot. And when we're talking about the defence, we're saying defence has been poor the last 2 games. Are we blaming that just on the back 3? Or we're going to class the midfield in there as well? Because for me, the midfield's not doing enough to get back and to get forward. They're just, like you say, void of responsibility at the minute. They're just doing the basic stuff and not taking the game by the scruff of the neck.
Everybody wants in now. Oh,
right,
Jacob, then we'll go to the Mad Mistake, then we'll go to you, Michael. Jacob.
Yeah, the first thing was building on what Terry said, one of the substitutions on Tuesday night. First of all, nothing's changed from Parkinson in terms of tactics. Doesn't make his subs until the 75th minute, which is scandalous. But bringing off Chris Maguire, I know Chris Maguire didn't have the best of games, but bringing on Josh Scowen.
Don't bring Maguire off.
I know Maguire, but it's the set piece capabilities he has, and you bring on Josh Scowen to take corners, which are horrendous. And then the second, but with McGeady, I'm just wondering with the latest contract he signed. Is your cat bothering you, comrade?
Yeah, I think he knows I'm frustrated, so he's just trying to cheer me up.
Oh, bless.
I'll lower him. What?
My God. I'm just with the latest contract Aidan McGeady signed. Could there be a clause in there where if he scores a certain amount of goals or makes a certain amount of appearances, that add-on fees need to be paid to either an agent or a previous club that he's had in the past? Who knows?
Right, Terry, you was trying to get in.
Like Dave was on about the defence. That's where Ledbetter comes in. That's where Ledbetter's been so good this season. He's been protecting the defence. It reminds me of a few years ago when Catamol was kind of doing the same thing. He was getting back and helping the defence a lot, and it was sort of sacrificing us from getting more goals up front. I think Ledbetter's doing a brilliant performance, but I think Portsmouth was a game too much. But I think for me, if you play him Saturday to Saturday constantly, I think he'd be able to do that holding midfield role and protect the likes of Bailey Wright. With a leader like Ledbetter and a leader like Bailey Wright together, they work much better for me. When one of them's missing, I think it'll be like a lot worse, you know.
Michael, quickly, because I'm different things I want to do, and Jacob's also been waiting to ask his question for about half an hour now.
I know that's done.
Is that done now? All right, go on, Michael.
Anyway, well, the point, like, obviously, the midfield was not taking responsibility with helping out defensively, but why were we letting so many crosses coming into the box and not stopping them? Like, and that's also not just down to the midfield; that's down to the wing backs as well. Where Conor McGutton and Denver Hume, as much as I like Denver Hume, and I think he is one of our best attacking outlets, and I thought second half Hume was one of our better players, even though his crossing was suspect. But why were we letting cross after cross after cross after cross come into the box and not dealing with them? Surely after the first goal, you think, right, we are not letting any more crosses come into this box because we haven't been able to deal with what's happened in the box all evening, and yet we don't do it. You've got yourselves fortuitously 2-1 up in the game. Well done. Don't bother to stop the cross. You know, let's just go and casually concede another goal. And I'm going to stop.
I'll tell you why, Michael. I'll tell you why, because their player had the better of Denver Hume. He had his number. He knew how to get past Denver Hume. He knows he's probably not looking to stop the cross. He just wants to stop him from coming on the inside, so it's easier to get the cross in. I mean, you can't stop every cross because sometimes a player will get the better of you. And just put it down to Tuesday. Their player was getting the better of Denver Hume going forward. That's what I put it down to. Right. But then your centre mids and your centre back should be headering it out. But the centre mids weren't doing their job to cover the 6-yard box. Cover the penalty spot, because that's where both headers came from. The penalty spot.
Well, what has happened? What's happened to the defence though, as well? Like what we were doing so well before these last 2 games, and now we've gone to conceding 5 goals into. I know I said we were going to concede goals, but how way? I didn't mean 5 goals.
Like Terry said,
Jordan Willis wasn't playing though. You have to remember he got injured at the weekend, and he was a big part of that defensive structure we had in place at the beginning of the season. We're keeping
Conrad, you're trying to get in. Conrad, jump in there.
The defence is something that you've only done in the last 2 games, but Terry brought it up before. The midfield against Portsmouth, they were just getting overrun by Portsmouth. They had Harness or Mark was just sitting on Ledbetter the whole time. We had no protection in front of them. So the 3 all of a sudden were having to deal with a lot more than they were doing before, then getting caught out of position. So like the first goal where Willis was dragged all the way over when Harness went through on that side. Their other goal, Ledbetter getting pressed too quick, passing it off. Caught out, second goal on there. We lost our protection and we lost our protection. We're getting rushed when we hadn't been in any other game. And then at Rochdale, like Terry said as well, Ledbetter's not there. So they went, right, well, they've got 2 others here who aren't as good as Ledbetter. If we just press the midfield and rush them again, they're in a panic. They rush everything they're doing. The fullbacks, or the wing backs, I should say, they're not back far enough. So then the 2 centre backs on either side are having to move out. You've got 1 guy left in the middle to deal with their striker, their attacking midfield, maybe 2 strikers coming in. We just have, the defence has no organisation when someone presses them. For the first few games, I don't remember us being pushed and pressed very fast, very hard, but Portsmouth did it straight from the first few minutes. And then it sounds like, I'll admit I didn't watch, but it sounds like what Terry was saying. We were just getting pressed in the midfield straight away on the Tuesday night, especially with, like he was saying, Dobson, misplaced pass, Power, misplaced pass. Why? They've got no time. They're just getting rushed, and that's why our midfield's not protecting the defence.
Dobson was giving the ball away under no pressure, though.
Well, yeah, that's just because
nobody pressing Dobson, and he kept giving the ball away.
That's because he's rubbish, though, Michael. I didn't want to go that far.
But come on, you should be able to make a 5-yard pass effectively.
True.
Right, quickly, Dino, and then we'll move on to the next thing.
I don't feel like we were pressed, to be honest. It was because we were giving the ball away that many times. Yeah. They could capitalise on it. I mean, the amount of times I've seen Power try and make a forward pass and Dobson, and they give the ball away. The ball was going out for throw-ins. I seen Flanagan smashing the ball up, not going anywhere. We were just near. Even Danny Collins said when he was on the commentary, we kept giving the ball away needlessly. We didn't have to. We could have kept the ball, but no. And
like trying too much kind of thing.
In the difference I've seen, their centre midfielders were breaking lines. They were getting into pockets of space behind our centre midfields. We weren't doing that. We were just playing in front of them. I didn't see any centre midfielder break between the defence and the field and receive a pass in the pocket. We didn't do that. We played in front of them.
Yeah.
Right. We'll come to you, Terry, just after I say to Dino, you said, even Danny Collins said, so I need to quickly ask the question: why were you listening to Danny Collins on that commentary
I'll
the
tell you
madness?
why,
No, wait.
why.
No, wait. Let me finish the question. Right. Whilst the Man Mistake was doing his live stream, which was far better quality. So why was you?
I'll tell you.
You
Right,
tell me.
Right. 70 minutes in, the Man Mistake stream was ahead of mine. So that you can't watch a stream when everything's happening before it's happening for me. But then when I went back onto it, it somehow synced up perfectly in the 70th minute. So from the 70th minute onwards, then I was listening to the Mad Mistake and I turned Danny Collins off.
But if the Mad Mistake, if you pause the Mad Mistake, right, to catch up with your stream, then you can sync it all the way through.
Well, I didn't realise that at the time, Philly.
Well, to be fair,
that's what I did at Oxford.
Terry was about 30 seconds ahead of me all the time, and I just left it like that because it was funnier. To be honest, it was all right. Anyway, Mad Mistake, you're trying to get in, and then we will try and see if we can get on to something else.
The first 15 minutes, Rochdale were all over us like a rash. We just sat back. We didn't do any high pressing. We let them come to us, and they were all over us. Now, for me, they just seemed to just walk straight through our midfield. Our midfield was like non-existent whatsoever. That Rathbone played really well, and we couldn't compete with them. They were just all down the lines. They were just all over us for 15 minutes, and we were asleep. We were lethargic. We're just waiting for them to get the ball and come to us. Absolute waste of time. It was pointless, completely pointless. And I guarantee you this, mind, 100%. Gillingham will have done the homework, and they'll be all over us like a rash on Saturday.
Right. Well, a couple of things. I'm miles behind on the live chat here because something I'm wanting to bring up. But things what were mentioned there in that last segment about the youngsters and why they're not getting a chance. It baffles me the fact that the likes of Dan Neil and Jack Diamond, that pre-season he played them, he put them in. So he must have been thinking these are worth a go, and he put them in. And the lads were brilliant. I mean, I can fully understand it if they were rubbish pre-season and then they didn't get a sniff. But he put them in, they were great. And it baffles me how they're not getting a chance now. The other thing is, we're all going on about how we should have beat Rochdale. And I know, Terry, on your live stream, you kept banging on about 251 to win the league. They were the favourites to go down and stuff like that. But I mean, looking at Rochdale, how they played against us, weren't a bad side. They looked all right. I think they'd won the last two games before they played us, hadn't they? So, are Rochdale as bad as as we were making out?
Jacob said that, didn't he, about the 2 wins before?
They might just have a better manager.
Well, right. So what I want to ask, right? we were saying on here that 7 points out of the next 3 games, right? So it was going to be Rochdale, Gillingham, and Ipswich, and more or less everybody was saying would be happy with 7 points out of the next 3. 7 points out of the next 3 still achievable. Clayton Edwards on the chat saying a couple of bad performances and people are thinking the season's over. I agree. We've had a couple of bad games. So the question is, right, we now win on Saturday and we beat Ipswich on Tuesday and all this is forgotten about and everybody's happy again. Agreed? Conrad?
Can I just ask a question? This is just me, so I'm not trying to say it this way on purpose. So a couple of bad performances, he's saying. Have we played well this season? I know we've won games, but if any of them have we actually played really well? Like where you've gone, we were good today and we deserve this. Or have we just been like just taking a couple of chances that we've had? People were moaning we beat Peterborough 1-0. We got 2 against Oxford and people were going, well, we should be beating them instead of we played well. The Bristol Rovers game, everyone was like, well, that's not good enough. Charlton should have smashed them, but we didn't. Like, have we played really well yet at all this season? Genuine question, not trying to
Well, the thing is, are we actually bothered about the performance when really it's the result, which is the is what matters. So for me, I'll take a crappy performance every single game if we win.
46-1
Mad mistake, you're winning again in there.
Right. What Conrad says is spot on. I don't think we've actually played well all season. We've done okay to get points. But if we continue in this vein of form, where we don't play particularly well, we win some, we lose some, where do we end up? We don't end up in the top 2. That's a fact. I'm telling you now. We've got to up our game. Phil Parkinson's got to change things around and up his game. Find something in midfield with some sort of strength and ability to win balls, to drive forward at the heart of their defence. Not their teams driving at our defence. We've got to go for their defence. We all know the answer to that.
Right. Quickly, I'll come to you next, Dino. But on the chat, Craig Scott says Gillingham have lost their last 4 games, so that could be all right. Gary Talbot is saying, and what happens if we don't, Philly? Meaning the 7 points from the 3 games. Well, if we don't, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And I imagine if we don't do that, there'll be people again saying that's the season over and what have you. And
if we
honestly,
don't,
man,
can we just vote to end the season and be promoted?
Conrad, I know you were saying how with Gillingham have lost the last 4 games, and Conrad's always saying that if anybody breaks a cycle, it's always when Sunderland play them. Right, so Dino, then we'll go to you, Jacob.
Right, basically, right, a top 2 team don't play how we do. A top 2 team is constantly performing, getting results, nicking wins, last-minute winners and stuff like that. We're playing like a mid-table team, and I do agree with Terry. We are an average squad. We're not the best squad in the league. Put it that way. We're not. There's a lot of teams. There's about 6 teams who are probably, well, maybe 3-4 teams who are better than us. I'd say Ipswich. I'd say Peterborough. I'd say Portsmouth, even though Portsmouth aren't performing, but I still think they've got a better squad than us. We are a mid-table team. That's how we're playing. We're playing like a mid-table team because we're that inconsistent. We're not. The best game I've seen we play was probably Charlton, but we didn't get a result because we couldn't find the back of the net. But all the other games we've played, we've just nicked results. We haven't played the best, but we've nicked results like Peterborough. But if you go down this line and performing like the way we are, you're going to be inconsistent in your performances. I'd rather be playing well, drawing the odd game, but winning games. At the minute, we're playing awful and just scraping results.
But you see what you've just said there, Dino. You said the top 2 teams go out there and they nick results. They keep doing that. So, but if you know, take these last 2 games out of the equation for us. Our start to the season, we've nicked a lot of points, so we've done that.
But we're not doing it now, Philly. We're not doing it now, Philly. We're not doing it now.
2 games. Do you know one of which we've lost, the other one we haven't. Right, mad mistake. Go on then, and then Jacob,
quickly,
you can come.
Let's take away all the losses and all the draws, Philly, and we've won all our games. Get in, promoted.
It doesn't. Oh, everybody at the start of the season was saying, "Look at the start we've got. We got to really."
You just said let's take away the last 2 games. You can't just take away games and pretend we've done well.
Not the last 2 games. We've only lost one of the last 2.
We've dropped 5 points. We've dropped 5 points.
We got a point away from home.
So what happens if we get stuffed against Gillingham and get beat against Ipswich? And you're going to be going,
yeah, and no. Listen,
Philly, you're only as good as your last performance. Simple as that. And the last 2 performances have been dog shite.
Oh, well, listen, you're all saying what happens if we get beaten the next 2 games? What happens if we smash Ipswich and we smash Gillingham? Well, why? Well, no, if you're going to use the argument, what happens, or if we get beaten the next 2 games, if you're going to use that argument there, then I can use the same argument of what happens if we win, which we will do, up by Easter, and everybody's going to be happy.
What happens if Phil Parkinson plays Jack Diamond and plays Dan Neil and plays Luke 9 centre of midfield and we score 6 goals? That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So, Right, Jacob, you're down to get in. This better be good. Interrupting all this.
It's just that I've only just found this out tonight. The game's actually a 1 o'clock kickoff on Saturday because it's something to do with Gillingham's floodlights.
Oh yeah, I remember.
They haven't paid the bill.
Run them.
No, it's because they don't want to put them on at night, so they play them while it's still light.
Yeah, I've only just found that out tonight.
It's genuinely why they don't want to put them on at night to save money. So
they are
play
really
during the day.
financially struggling, didn't them? Really financially struggling.
Right. Well. So that's a 1 o'clock kickoff on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I was had any chance of catching the second half, I've no chance of doing it now.
Oh, you'll be drafting you, Philly, will you?
I didn't want to say it. I didn't realise you knew. But yes.
Can't beat if Barnes and Ben are on commentary.
Michael, well, I've even forgot the question. Yeah, 7 points out of the next 3 games. When we're doing that,
There's a few points I want to respond to. If we're going with take out the wins and take out the draws and the losses of one of the games. Okay, let's take out Peterborough. Let's take out Oxford. Let's take out Swindon. Let's take out Crewe. We can't just say right. You can look at the argument both ways. The argument is when we played really well at second half at Oxford. Yes, Oxford are down where they are, but it doesn't matter. At the time, we didn't know they were going to be where they've been this season. We played really well there, comfortably got the win. Peterborough, yes, we didn't play like swashbuckling football, but at the end of the day, we weren't going to play swashbuckling football. Peterborough, for me, have got the best attack in the division, and they've won and have not lost any game since playing us. In fact, the game they played against Burton was the first time they've dropped points since playing us. We can't just ignore that to suit narratives. We also played really well at Charlton. Yes, we didn't get the results, but everyone was gruntling about the performance against Peterborough. Should have beaten Charlton. Swindon, okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Swindon were pretty poor, but we beat them comfortably, and we didn't even get out of first gear doing it. Then you've got Crewe. You know, bizarrely enough, comfortably beat Crewe in the end. And Crewe aren't a bad side. Crewe was saying Rochdale aren't a bad team. Crewe aren't a bad team. They're not a bad side. They'd only lost before the weekend, before midweek when they lost to Lincoln. They'd only lost one of their previous 5, which was to us, and they beat Doncaster, who are just below us in the table. So, you know, I think if we're going to look at it, and Bristol, you look at it, and Bristol Rovers, I think we were pretty poor there, but you could argue we created enough chances to win the game. It's not like we're not. Can anyone tell me we're not creating any chances in games? Of course we are. The worst performance was Peterborough, and even then, sometimes you've got to grind games out. Got the penalty, yeah. You can say we mightn't have scored it if we didn't get the penalty, but the fact is we did get the penalty, and we won 1-0 because of it. Now, ultimately, these next 2 games, there is going to be pressure on, so there should be. You know, if we win the next 2 games, happy days. At the minute, I don't see us getting 6 points. The best I could see us get at a push is possibly 4. We might even get less than that, but that's not good enough. You know, there's some games where you think, right, Bristol Rovers was 2 points dropped. Rochdale was 2 points dropped. Charlton, you could argue, was 2 points dropped. Meanwhile, I think in the end, that was an okay point, given with the fact we went down in the last 20 minutes. So, I don't know, I'm just trying to provide balance to it. But yeah, at the end of the day, the pressure is going to be on in games coming up. That has to be. But what I said before, if Parkinson sees that the game is not going our way, don't wait until it's too late to change the game.
You know what the funny thing is? You'll start Dobson. You'll start Dobson on Saturday. I'm telling you. We will start Dobson.
You want a reaction?
Right. Well, quickly on the live chat, the casual observer says, "Well done, Terry, telling it the way it actually is, living in the real world." Right. But then also Anthony Perth says, "Who cares about what might happen? We must remain positive and not select players off." It's all right, you know, living in the real world and stuff like that. But what is wrong with being positive and thinking like that? Because surely if you start, you know, being real, if you like, and going, actually, we're rubbish here. You know, we're going to go out and we'll do our normal thing of being rubbish. And you've got to think positively, because by doing that, you know, you've got to have that winning mentality that in your mind, because what's the point of thinking any other way? Before we go to you, Terry, because Michael's been wagging his finger like that, so we'll do that then. My mistake. Go on.
Right. All I'm saying, I want to respond to a couple of people in the chat. They're asking me, how many saves did the Charlton keeper make? Hang
on, Michael. We'll go to that. You can go to that, but let Terry, because I think Terry wants to respond to what we were saying there. Go on.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
Right, that'll do. Yeah. Right, go on then. You want to respond to some people in the chat there, Michael?
There's at least 2 people asking how many how many saves did the Charlton keeper make? Sometimes it's not about whether you force plays and save. Did those people actually look at the chances we missed in that game? Just because we didn't force keepers into save doesn't mean we didn't have chances to win the game. Come on. I'm not having I'm sorry if I'm not trying to have a go at you guys. It's just that just frustrates us. Like, come on. We should have won the game.
Right, go on, Jacob. Jump in quick.
Yeah, Michael, I'm not sure what that comment's about, because don't you remember? I think Charlie White had a header late on that was just tipped wide by their keeper, and Scowen went to hit the rebound, but he had to square it across for someone, and that was
Gooch.
Was that Gooch? Gooch, yeah.
I thought Gooch could have tapped that in. I think he had no confidence on the foot he had it on, because, like, for me, and that was a tight angle, but you could, if you were quick enough and you had the bottle about you try and get that in the back of the net. But I think he bottled it a little bit and he put it back, and then that's when Hume had the shot what went wide just after.
Right, Terry.
That's why I have a notepad and pen, because I've got to write it down, because I forget.
Exactly. I'm the same age. I've got one myself. That's why we have them.
Just general thing with Sunderland and me. If I expect Sunderland to win, they always let us down. When I don't expect to win, they always surprises. So sometimes I think myself, like, I'm not really fancying this game, and then they tend to sort of pull out of the bag a surprise. But when Luke 9 comes back into the side this weekend, I'm going to ask you all, where would you play him?
Midfield.
Me, left back. What's funny about one left back?
Go for it, Jacob Gonson.
I would say attacking midfield, and I'll give Sanderson a chance at right wing back. I think he's got potential. He's got a bit of pace about him.
Right. Remember when you said, Terry, that we shouldn't miss Luke 09 against Rochdale? I think we missed him massively. I think we did. I think we missed him on the right-hand side. I'm going to keep him. I'd love to see him in midfield, don't get us wrong. But I think Ledbetter should come back in, and I think Scowen should come in. And I think we need Luke 09 on the right, because without Luke 09 on the right-hand side, we've got nothing on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, until I see Sanderson play right wing back, I've got to stick with Luke 09 until I've seen Sanderson.
So with Diamond on the right-hand side?
Good point, but he won't play Diamond. I don't know why he won't, but he won't play him.
How about putting Logo 9 in the centre with Scowen, Ledbetter behind, with Diamond on the right?
Ideally, I'd love to see Diamond on the right and Logo 9 pushed into centre mid, but in the world we're living today, he won't start Diamond, he'll put Logo 9 back to right wing back. Guarantee.
Really the captaincy, give Ledbetter sort of to help him out, put Power on the bench and Dobson on. Dobson not even in the squad.
Put him in goal. Therefore.
Like you say, Conrad, I'd love to see Luke 09 in the centre, but with Phil Parkinson, with how stubborn he is, he won't do that. He'll put him back on the right and not.
Oh, we all know he won't do it. He's just stubborn as I don't know what.
Conrad, where would you put Luke 09?
I've forgotten it. No, I haven't. I put Luke 09. I thought Luke 09 was best for us at right wing back. It's where he's played the most. Last season, when we had our spell between December through till February, it was where he was playing best, getting forward and giving us something on the side. It also freed up Maguire and Gooch to be forward a bit more and help Charlie White. Charlie White didn't score a lot, but it was Gooch got 10 goals last season, and most of them, I imagine, were within that point. Maguire got a load more goals within that point. We were better with Hume and 09 as our wing backs, with Maguire and Gooch supporting Wyke. The midfield was non-existent, just like it is now, so nothing changes in the midfield.
Well, the thing is we all know he's Luke 09 is probably best. Like, I mean, somebody said last week between the midfield and attacking, like the forwards would. But it ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to. It's not going to be put there. Sorry.
I was listening to the Total Sport the other night, and Michael Gabbiadini said a good thing. He says, if I was Phil Parkinson, I'd sit down with the player who has the most energy, the most want and drive to win the game of football. I'd say, right, Luke 09. Marco said, why is Luke 09 playing centre back? Why is he playing right wing back? I would sit down with Luke 09 and say, Luke, where do you want to play?
Yeah.
Where do you fancy playing in our side? Do you want to be in the central midfield? Do you want to be right wing back? Do you want to be like the number 10? Where do you want to play? And have a conversation with a player that gives the most drive. Imagine his energy in the central midfield. You got like Power, who passes backwards with not much energy. Dobson gives the ball away. And then obviously Scowen had an off game against Portsmouth. But someone like Luke with that energy in midfield, we need somebody with a bit of drive in midfield. At the moment, just so slow.
Yeah, he could be. It could definitely be that creative midfielder which we haven't seen for, seen here for ages. On the chat quickly, because earlier on, William Tucker said, and this isn't going to happen because financial reasons, really, but a lot of people are getting sick of Parkinson now and saying he's not the man for the job, and would basically like to see him go. But it won't even be taken into consideration because financially the club can't afford to do it. Stuart Donald won't do it. He'll stick with him anyway. But it was brought up that if that did happen and he was gone, realistically, who would we like in? And people are saying now on the chat here, Chris Scott is saying Parkinson sat by Christmas, appoint Cook, and would be up by Easter. Craig Scott is saying Cook would be a champion man for the job. Any ideas out there? I mean, what about Nigel Clough and stuff like that? It's all hypothetical because it's not. It can't happen financially. Just simple as that.
We have someone who plays attacking football, because I was thinking this the other day, how many managers have we had now that are either counter-attacking or sit back and be a conservative style of play? When was the last time we actually had a manager that went, right, we're gonna dictate the play, we're gonna set the tone and do this? We've always, for as long as I've remembered anyway, had a manager that was, right, we need to lock down a little bit, let them come to us, and then we'll play off them, we'll play their style,
It's frustrating because in this division, you can understand it when you're higher up and you're playing better teams where you've got to play defensive and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But when we're in this division and we should be the ones, banging forward and what have you, and then you see, the forwards are not getting any service and stuff like that, and it is frustrating. But if you could have, Mad Mistake, you're not a fan of Parkinson at all.
Mildly.
What happens if we say go on a really bad run now up until Christmas, and they do sack him? Can they actually afford to sack him?
I don't think. I think it's just Donald's puppet. I don't think Donald will sack him. I think Donald will keep him. Now Donald's in hiding. He's not going to get any pressure from anybody. The fans can't get in his back because he's in hiding. So it doesn't really. Donald's got his puppet Rodwell there now. So Donald's just sitting away somewhere in his little mansion with all these millions doing nothing. And Parkinson's just there. Parkinson won't get a job anywhere else in this kind of climate at the moment. So Parkinson is going to do what Donald says because end of the day, he's getting paid his money. He's feeding his family and whatever it is. And I know I don't want to see anybody get sacked. If I had a magic wand, I'd put some good ideas into Parkinson's head and hopefully he'd get us promoted. Same as if Dobson plays on Saturday. I'd wish him all the best to have the best game in the world, to turn that performance around and prove everybody wrong. I don't want players going out playing badly. I want to see them all succeed. But sometimes you just need to sometimes the managers just need to have some better ideas, So do you not think though, do you genuinely believe then that, let's say we lost every game between now and Christmas, right? And went on a dreadful run, that even that happening, right? We was, dropping down the league like a stone, he just wouldn't be sacked. Oh, he will eventually. He will at some point, but he won't do it
he would.
over the next few games, or I don't think next 3, 4, 5 games. By Christmas time, if it gets to the point where we could get relegated or we're stuck in this league and then Donald just wants us to get promoted so he can get his money, then he might, but whether he can afford it or not. All
right. Dino, you're trying to get in there?
All Parkin needs to do to change the way he is have some balls, make some tough decisions. When you say someone like Dobson not performing, bring him off at half time, make a half time sub. you're all allowed to make a half-time sub. I mean, he just needs to like not be as stubborn and just make the make the simple decisions. You can see someone's having a bad game, bring him off. Simple as that. He's not going to play any better because you've got no crowd to support. You're basically letting someone like Dobson hang out to dry with a terrible performance, and then bring off someone like Maguire who can nick a goal. Don't get us wrong, he wasn't having the greatest games, but he's got in his locker to nick a goal. Dobson didn't have that. Dobson was just getting worse without the game. He needs to have some balls. He's had some balls with changing formations, like obviously he went with the 2 in centre instead of the 3. He took Ledbetter out. They're good. They're brave decisions. The brave decision to take McGeady out the team, they're brave. He has got it in his locker, but at the minute he's making the worst decisions possible. Make some bold changes.
All right, mad mistake.
I don't think the McGeady thing was down to Parkinson. I think that's down to Donald personally, but Dobson thing, I think he's stubborn. He's made a decision to change the team around it. I've brought Dobson in, and he's just like standing by his decision. He's going to just walk off the cliff. Basically, he just doesn't want to change it because he's that stubborn. He's just thinking, I've made this decision. I'm the manager. I'm the boss. I'm going to do what I want, and I'm not going to just like contradict myself.
Right. Just very quickly on the chat, my wife has decided to join in, who thinks she's really funny. It says, shout out to the hubby, who as well as working hard also manages to look like a minion and a member of Steps. And the reasoning around that is because it's now dark nights when we're working, grafting, delivering the parcels. We have head torches, right? So we can see what we're doing. So we look like minions. And they're hand controlled. So you do that and they come off. And so she thinks I'm like a member of Steps doing this on and off.
Tragedy.
So, yeah, not funny. Right, before we... So before we go, because we're running out of time, Gillingham then on Saturday, I'd like some predictions for the match and see what you think. Somebody's already said on the chat that Gillingham have lost their last 4 games. We're away at Gillingham. We've just had a little blip, that's all it is. So let's see what your predictions are going to be for Saturday, Michael.
I'm going to be completely pessimistic and see if reverse psychology works. 2-1 Gillingham.
What?
There you go.
What?
I'm going to try that.
No.
You know the reason I'm contradicting myself after what I've said tonight. But I'll tell you what. Sunderland never ever take advantage of a team on a poor run, and we should be doing so. We don't get 3 points. It's a disaster, but I just don't see it at the minute.
So you're saying 2-1 Gillingham, yeah?
Yep. Because why not?
Yeah. Well. This is Michael's last appearance on the live chat.
It's been nice knowing you.
Right, so 2-1 Gillingham from Michael. Jacob?
My favourite scoreline, 2-1 Sunderland.
2-1 Sunderland, that's your favourite, but it never comes off, does it?
No.
But stick with it, and eventually it's got to happen, hasn't it? Yeah. Dino?
Well, if we played like anything we did against Rochdale, I'm going to say 1-1. I think 1-1.
Dino predicting a better result than me. I didn't expect that.
Well, Dino, I can't believe that. That's pretty positive for you there, Dino. Mad mistake, what are you going for?
It's 1-1 with 10 minutes to go, right? And then all of a sudden, a light bulb appears in Phil Parkinson's head. He brings on Jack Diamond as right wing back, moves Luke 9 in the centre of midfield. Jack Diamond comes sprinting down the right-hand side, crosses the ball in, diving header, Luke 9, 2-1 to Sunderland. Yeah! Boom!
And then Terry wakes up from his dream.
Exactly.
So you say you're going for a 2-1 there, Terry, yeah?
2-1, aye.
Right, Conrad, what do you think for Saturday then?
1-1, Charlie White scores again.
1-1, Charlie White again.
Yeah, I hope he keeps scoring. Me, like I've been impressed with him lately. I think he's done really, really well.
That's the one good thing we've really the better thing we've got at the minute is Charlie White scoring no matter how we play at the moment.
Keep the faith, man of October.
Right, hang on, it's over in 2 days' time. That there, so stop scoring. He's only scored in October.
More than likely, yeah.
He only scores on his month.
Right, so we got 2 draws. Michael's going for a Gillingham win. Mad mistake, and Jacob going for a 2-1 Sunderland win. And I think we'll go back to keeping a clean sheet. And I'm going 2-0 to Sunderland. excellent performance, and all this will be forgotten about, and everything will be
Till we
rosy
lose to Ipswich.
again.
Till Ipswich.
Yeah,
the
till
garden.
Ipswich.
Say your prayers.
So that's it then. That just about wraps it up. Don't forget, we will be back on Sunday to discuss Sunderland's win down at Gillingham. And so you can join us. You can join us for that. Don't forget, of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Hit the like button if you're watching it back. Do that and keep following the show, because without yous, we are nothing. So once again, from myself, Wee Philly, from Michael Bowers, from Jacob Kirkbride, from Dino, from the Mad Mistake, and his his Halloween special friend, and Conrad, our editor. That is it from us on SAFC Fan TV, and we just nuts.
If you've waited an hour for this, this is what you came for, everyone.
No violence.
This is what you came for, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you all on Sunday. All right, you nuts, man. You nuts, man, Terry.